You are now listening to the Pelicans Postgame Report. Flash Report.
All things Pelicans, you're now tuned into the Pelican Postgame Report. Big ups to the fam. Appreciate y'all for being in this live. PPR in here representing the Pelican Nation. Stand up. Big ups to you guys. Appreciate you being in the live. In this one, man, we're going to preview the Pelicans matchup against the San Antonio Spurs. The Pelicans didn't get off to the win that we wanted them to get off to at the start of the season, going down to the Grizzlies. But hey, man, let's see if we can bounce back. We got 10 keys to victory for the Pelicans to get the win over the San Antonio Spurs. So if you're interested in this content, please feel free to hit the like button and the sub button. Join the PPR family, the community, the flocking community, the most dedicated and faithful in the business. Hit that subscribe button and share the show, man. Anyway, let's get right into it, man. Pelicans, man, taking on this team, trying to come back, bounce back, and get the first win of the 25-26 campaign. We got to take care of business, man. So we got the injury report. We'll start off first with the Pelicans matchup. Friday night in the center, the SKC, the Smoothie King Center. We're going to be up in this thing. So anyway, here's what it looks like to start the broadcast off on the latest Pelicans injury update. Kevon Looney, of course, him and DeJounte Murray are out. Carlo Mekovic is a game time decision dealing with low back spasms. Eves has a right ankle sprain. So that's a bit of very positive news. Nothing broken, just a sprain. So he's listed as questionable. The Spurs have several injuries to deal with. De'Aaron Fox, right hamstring, is out. Kelly Olynyk is out with that left heel surgery. Jeremy is also out of the game with the left wrist sprain. And Lindy Waters III, who was a former Golden State Warrior who just always cooked the Pelicans. When he was out there at a bilateral eye procedure, he's also listed as out. But who's not out, man? Wemby is not out. So the starting lineups will look like this for the Spurs. You see Champagnie, Barnes, who also has good success against the Pelicans. Victor Wembanyama coming off a massive game, that first game over the Dallas Mavericks riding high. Devin Vassell and Stephon Castle. Very solid lineup and well-coached team. The Pelicans, Trey Murphy III, Zion Williamson, Eves is supposed to be out. They got him listed as in with the sprain. I doubt that. We might see another big in there. Herb Jones and Jordan Poole. So without having Eves in the game, and I doubt he'll play, Kevon is still out. Will we see Derek Queen at the starting position? Now they also have Hunter Dickinson, who's a 7'2" guy there. So the Pelicans will be looking at a different lineup. I don't know if Eves playing. I doubt he plays with that sprain, but it'll be either Queen or Hunter Dickinson lined up against Victor Wembanyama. It's going to be interesting to say the least, man, how this thing is going to flow. So anyway, man, that's some of the gist of it as we get ready to get back into it. But yes, this game, y'all know where to find it at and how to watch it on the Pelicans Plus app. If you have a digital antenna, you can catch it on the stream as well. But outside of that, man, I have 10 keys to victory that the Pelicans will need to use to win this contest. And, you know, we'll see how it all acts. But what I see, man, in this matchup and breaking it down is my 10 keys. 10 keys to victory for the Pelicans, right? Number one, dominating the paint and protecting the rim. The Spurs opened the season. They had this big win, had a massive advantage in the paint, 68-26 over the Mavs. Pelicans must make sure they keep the gap close. They got to use the size and athleticism. They have to have some rim protection to try to deny easy interior baskets and transition buckets. That's number one. Dominate the paint and protect the rim. That's going to be very difficult because that's where Wembanyama is really good at. So that's going to be a task within itself, especially with Eves out. We know Carlo Mekovic is dealing with injuries, so we have to rely on an inexperienced Hunter Dickinson and perhaps our rookie Derek Queen. Number two, control the tempo and the pace. The Pelicans do know that they benefit when they slow things down and kind of force the Spurs into a less efficient sets, right? Managing pace, avoiding run and gun style from the Spurs. New Orleans can then force the young Spurs to kind of fight for every possession, kind of muddy up the game for the Spurs. Control the pace and the tempo. Willie Green always talk about pace and force and all this kind of stuff. Now is your opportunity to prove it with that second bullet point. Number three, they have to win the rebound battle. Let's keep it all the way funky. One key from the previous Pelican Spurs matchups going back was controlling the boards. The Spurs, without their full size, they're vulnerable. So the Pelicans must secure defensive boards to avoid those second chance points, then crash the offensive boards to gain more possessions. More possessions mean more opportunities to get buckets to score that help kind of shrink and control the game from that perspective. Number 4, limit turnovers and protect the basketball. The Spurs excel at generating these steals and then converting off those mistakes that they force you into. In the opener, the Pelicans were challenged in that regard. The Pelicans must value the possessions, avoid these careless passes. You know, the ones that we talked about in yesterday's recap stream. That happened with the Pelicans in the clutch moments on the back end of the Grizzlies game, where they were just having these careless passes and these unforced errors. You cannot do that against this, because you got to make the Spurs then work for everything. So the Pelicans have to respect the basketball. They have to value the possession. They have to avoid these careless passes. They have to play smarter basketball. Number 5, exploit mismatches on the wing and the perimeter. Now, the Pelicans' size and wing versatility gives them a bit of an advantage against some of the Spurs' smaller defenders. Now, New Orleans should get the wings involved. Use off-ball movement, screens, rolls, and kind of punish the slower-footed people on the perimeter that the Spurs represent. Now, they have some young guns there. We know Harrison Barnes is not a younger player, but I believe the Pelicans have an advantage there we can take advantage of, right? Number 6, defend the interior and challenge the superstar threat that they have. Now, Victor, he dropped the 40 points, 15 rebounds, 3 blocks on opening night. He was phenomenal. They were talking MVP Wemby in the first game of the season. Pelicans have to have a clear plan of action to limit his impact as much as they possibly can. Force him into taking these mid-range or baseline shots. Avoid giving them clean catches. Hey, they got to be able to have help ready, and force him to put the ball on the floor and work for his shots. I'm going to say that again, because number 6 bullet point is really big. That is, they have to force him into mid-range shots or baseline. Give him, don't give him the clean catches that he has, and have help ready to roll over and make him force with Wemby to put the ball on the floor and make him work for his shots. You got to make Wemby work for everything. You can't let him allow them to go out there and just have fun. Number 7, effective bench contributions and depth does matter. The Pelicans need more than just the starters to help carry the game. The Spurs have a good youth and energy blend mix that they have, but the Pelicans must leverage that bench to sustain runs. Then they have to use them to slow the momentum, maintain intensity when them starters get the rest. You get what I'm saying? When the starters come out, the bench has to be able to maintain the momentum, right? Number 8, start strong. Start strong. Avoid big early deficits. And they did well in the first half of the game, but what really hurt the Pelicans is once the team made the adjustments at halftime, Willie Green didn't have an answer for that. And it took him a full quarter before something started to twitch. By that time, there was a 41-22 third quarter advantage toward the Grizzlies that decided the game. That was the game. In the words of Zion Williamson, he said in the post show. So we have to also realize that, man. And we just have to be very mindful of that, right? So they can't allow the Spurs to build this early leads and get comfortable. They must set the tone early and stay disciplined, stay locked in, right? Number 9, free throw line and finishing around the rim are big. So when teams dominate the paint area and draw fouls, they win those tough games, but they have to be able to convert at the foul line when they get them. Zion often complains that we think he doesn't get fouls enough, but when you get the fouls and you get an opportunity to be blessed to go to the foul line, you have to convert the free throws or the charity shots into points. You have to be able to convert those shots into points. Now, the Pelicans' ability to finish at the rim and get to the line and convert will be super key, especially if the Spurs try to jam-pack that lane, right? They get to the line, they got to finish. When they get around the rim, they have to convert, right? We have to be able to get those shots. those easy shots. And then, of course, number 10, the home court. That'll be to our advantage. It's going to be jam-packed, slam-packed in the Smoothie King Center. The home crowd will be rocking. So use that whole home court energy and the crowd involvement in New Orleans. You know, they got to feed off the home crowd. They have to use the fourth quarter home surge. You know, that's a factor, and to keep the defensive energy high throughout the game, and they have to finish strong. This is going, you know, if they do that, they'll have a loud atmosphere that'll help disrupt the defensive communication of the Spurs and can derail and fluster a young team with pressure. So this could be something that we can utilize to kind of help us win. So that's my top 10 keys to victory for the Pelicans. So what do you guys think? Y'all give me your comments in the section below and let me know what you think the Pelicans need to do to get a win against Victor Wembanyama and a very talented and well-coached Spurs team. It's going to be an interesting affair nonetheless, to watch that go on. Anyway, I got a bit of news for you guys as well. And outside a little back end on that top 10, a little bit more information. The Pelicans' last 5 games against the Spurs, the Pels are 2-3, have averaged 112.6 per game in the last 5 contests. So we're 2-3 versus the Spurs in the last 3. A win will even things up. And of course, a little news for you guys as well is the fact that the Pelicans did cut ties with former NBA championship guard after one game. New Orleans announced Thursday that the team has waived guard Jaden Springer. He's a former NBA player that played in 2 preseason games with New Orleans but didn't play in the season opening loss to the Grizzlies on Wednesday night. Across 2 of the preseason games, he averages 3.5 points, 10 boards, an assist and a half across just over 6 minutes per contest. He's now going to waivers, while the Pelican roster is now at 17, including 3 two-way players. The Pelicans did this in a backdrop on Springer, initially drafted by the Sixers in the first round, University of Tennessee product, you know, and Pelicans, like Springer, thought he can catch on with him. In the end, he didn't. So, you know, he could be a guy that they pick up. He could be going to the G League. He did well there in 15 games, averaged over 16 points while shooting almost 49% from the field, 29% from 3-point range, and he's just 23 years old. So he could be heading to Beham, but this also could be where the Pelicans are opening up room to possibly bring in a big or a guard to kind of help out, man. They're trying to open up a space to kind of clear out, to perhaps bring a player in here that can kind of help the Pelicans out with with the injuries to the bigs that we got going on. So whatever they are doing, we'll figure it out, man, and we'll see it later on. But anyway, with that being said, that'll be the end of the show. Y'all do me a service, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and by all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. Big Q representing the Flockin' Nation. Shout out to DC and Lex and the Flockin' PPR community. Much love to you guys, and I'll holler at you guys on the recap stream later on Friday night. Much love. Go Pels. Peace.
Subscribe now and stay up to date for all things New Orleans Pelicans.